When I am is no longer something you return to, something subtle happens. You stop watching yourself live. You stop checking whether you are present enough, peaceful enough, spiritual enough. The inner observer relaxes, and life begins to move without commentary. This is not loss of awareness. It is the end of self-monitoring. The moment you stop asking, "Am I still in I am?" You are. Most people believe awakening should feel dramatic, but the deepest shifts are almost disappointing to the mind. Nothing special happens, no fireworks, no permanent bliss. Just a quiet sense that nothing is missing anymore. You still wake up tired sometimes, you still feel emotion, you still face uncertainty. But something fundamental is gone. The belief that these experiences define you has dissolved. This is why Joel Goldsmith emphasized resting, not achieving. The infinite way was never about reaching higher states. It was about recognizing what never enters or leaves. When you live from I am, you don't rise above life. Life settles into you. Consider a simple, ordinary moment. You are standing in a queue, running late, someone cuts in front of you. The old identity would immediately react. Tightness in the chest. A story forms. People are disrespectful. Why does this always happen to me? But now something else is present. The reaction may arise, but it doesn't recruit you. It has no center. It appears and dissolves like a ripple in water. You notice the body relax without effort. Not because you controlled it, but because there is no one left to defend. Living from I am does not mean you become passive. It means action is no longer fueled by psychological urgency. You still speak when needed. You still set boundaries. You still act decisively. But the action comes from clarity, not identity. From presence, not protection. This is the great misunderstanding about surrender. People think surrender means giving up power. In truth, surrender is the end of false power. The power of control, manipulation, resistance. When that drops, a deeper intelligence moves freely. You don't decide what to do next as much as you recognize what is already unfolding. Another real-life example. Someone criticizes you. Old patterns might still flicker. A tightening. A defensive thought. But now the criticism doesn't land anywhere solid. It doesn't attach to a self-image that needs maintenance. You may listen, you may respond, or you may walk away. But there is no aftertaste, no replay in the mind hours later. The moment completes itself and disappears. This is one of the clearest signs that I am is living you. Experiences complete themselves. They do not echo endlessly in thought. The mind loses interest in recycling the past because identity is no longer built from memory. Jesus spoke of this when he said, "Take no thought for your life." This was never a moral instruction. It was a description of a state of being. When identity dissolves, thought naturally loses its compulsive grip. Not because you force silence, but because thought has nothing to protect. Living from I am also changes your relationship with the future. You stop leaning forward psychologically. You still plan, you still prepare. But there is no emotional investment in outcomes. The future becomes functional, not personal. You act wisely without attaching your worth to results. This is why peace in I am feels so ordinary. It doesn't feel like happiness. It feels like neutrality infused with quiet fullness, a sense that whatever appears is already allowed, already included, already met. At this stage, even spiritual language becomes less important. You may find yourself speaking less about awakening, less about consciousness, less about truth. Not because it has lost meaning, but because it has become lived rather than discussed. Silence starts to feel more accurate than explanation. You may notice something else too. Compassion becomes natural. Not emotional compassion, not sympathy, but a deep understanding that everyone is acting from their level of identification. You stop trying to change people. You stop needing them to wake up. You meet them where they are, without superiority, without distance. This is maturity in I am. The end of seeking does not make you special. It makes you ordinary again, simple, available, human without being trapped in humanity. But as the quiet knowing that was never born, this is not the end of the journey. It is the end of the one who thought they were on it,